Chapter 36. Page 407. Peace Conference of the World. The conference convened about 10 a.m. on August 30th. All of the officials were seated by 11 o'clock, and shortly after, Supreme Commander Gordon, escorted by the President of the United States, General Walter Kenilworth, and his wife General Edna Kenilworth, arrived. The applause lasted for more than 1 hour. When it had died down, General Pearson stepped to the center of the platform, and grasped the Supreme Commander's hand and raised it before the vast throng and said, "Commanders, rulers, kings and officials of all nations, this is our Lord and Master, whose will is law. Whatever he says, we will abide by. I now introduce to you, General Walter Kenilworth, who will make the opening address." The applause again lasted for over a half hour, then General Walter Kenilworth began to speak. Brothers and sisters of the world, this is the greatest council that the world has ever known, for never before in history has every nation gathered at a peace conference. We hope and verily believe this is to be the last war. We expect to be one united people and follow the law laid down in the Bible, love thy neighbor as thyself. Then there can be no more wars. It is my purpose at this time to introduce to you a man who needs no introduction, the Prince of Peace, a man of sorrow and acquainted with grief, the greatest and most just man since our Savior Jesus Christ was on earth. We placed our liberty in his hands, and he saved our country and has been merciful to the enemy. Our gratitude to him can never be repaid. I now commend you to his care and keeping. Whatever terms he may make for peace, the United States government will ratify and confirm. I now take pleasure in presenting to you our Supreme Commander Robert Gordon, who will now address you. Supreme Commander Gordon arose and tried to quiet the great crowd. Women were on their feet and men were shouting, "Hail the most just and merciful man in the world." There was a mad rush to try to get to the platform to shake his hand. When the noise had quieted down and order been restored, Supreme Commander Gordon raised the Holy Bible and said, "Brothers and sisters of the united world, the terms laid down in this book are the terms of peace that I offer you. I am going to offer you peace on the same terms that Jesus would give you. The United States has always stood for liberty, and as the land of liberty, it must set an example of peace and brotherly love to the world as it has always done before. This country has never engaged in a war for personal gain. In the Great World War, we refused to accept any indemnities. We made the fight for a principle, not for money or territory. Now the United States will make no demand upon any nation. There is no longer to be different nations of the world, but the United Kingdom of the world. The United States is to dictate peace to the world on the terms of brotherly love. We will take no territory nor demand any indemnity. We will retain the gold supply of the world, but will follow the admonition of Jesus Christ when he said, 'Feed my lambs.' We will lend a helping hand to any nation that needs it. You are to return to your homes and loved ones and tell them that the Spirit of God, which is all-powerful and able to destroy, is ever merciful and just and has spared your lives and liberty. We refuse to take your money or territory, and in return only ask and demand that you do unto others as you would have them do unto you and as we have done unto you. Remember that Old Glory has never trailed the dust, and she never will, because the God of the universe did not create this nation for any or all nations to destroy. He has placed the great power in the hands of those who would use it only in defense of right and not for selfish gain. When I am ready, I can touch a button and your great airships which are now held captive may proceed safely home, and when you go, may you follow in the footsteps of him who created the earth and who has saved you, and may you give reverence and praise to him who is able to destroy not only property, but both soul and body. When the final articles are drawn and the territory of the United States is divided and allotted according to the plan laid down by Ezekiel and according to science, we will so direct that each of you can live in peace and harmony and according to the law. I demand that the terms of peace be signed by women as well as men. They are more just and merciful and will rule the country in the future. If women must continue to be the mothers of our men, they must have the right to decide whether their sons shall be sent to war or not. It will take time to arrange the plans for cities and countries as outlined by Ezekiel, and I expect that the terms will be acceptable and signed by the good women of every nation. It is understood and agreed that the United States will retain all of the inventions we now have for the prevention of war, and I warn you that if necessity ever demands it, for the protection of peace of the world, that a machine can be built which will destroy every living soul on the earth. It can be directed from New York City by a lone man without ever leaving here and do complete destructive work. This is only a warning and not a threat. You have seen the power demonstrated by Marie the Angel of Mercy, and mercy shown. You must respect this divine law and divine power. Remember that this victory is according to God's plan and God's will. I take no credit to myself, and for myself and my country ask nothing, except that you live with us in brotherly love. When Supreme Commander Gordon had finished speaking, the applause was the greatest ever known, lasting again for more than an hour. When it had died down, General Walter Kenilworth stepped to the platform and said, "It is next in order for me to make a speech of appreciation to Supreme Commander Gordon, not only for our country, but I have in my hand a paper which has been signed by the rulers of every country in the world, asking that I make a speech of appreciation for them. Before proceeding with this address, I want to ask every man and woman in this audience who is willing to accept the terms of peace laid down by Supreme Commander Gordon to rise to their feet." In an instant, every man and woman in the building was on their feet, shouting, "Hail to the Chief, God bless him and long may he live." When they were seated again, General Kenilworth proceeded, and turning to Supreme Commander Gordon he said, "Supreme Commander Robert Gordon, comrade and friend. I now have the greatest honor that has ever been conferred upon any man, that of presenting to you the highest medal that the United States can confer. This medal is emblematic of your great work and the duty and loyalty you have shown to your country. It is made of gold with a triple triangle in the three royal colors, purple, blue and gold. The words in the center of the triangle are I am God love. Around the triangle are the words, faith, hope, and love. All of this and even more you have lived. Words are empty when I attempt to convey to you the appreciation and gratitude of this country and the world. I am instructed by the President of the United States to say to you that anything that the United States can give is yours without the asking. All the foreign countries now fall at your feet to worship you because you have proven worthy and have used the great power placed in your hands wisely. It has been well said that God never places a responsibility upon a man who will use it unwisely. God has made no mistake in selecting you, Robert Gordon, as the Prince of Peace. The United States is proud of you, the world honors you, and we offer you our humble gratitude and all the praise that this world can give you. Name what you want as your reward and it shall be given to you." Again the applause lasted for a long time. When it had died away, Supreme Commander Gordon arose and said, "General Walter Kenilworth, comrade and friend, we have known each other since early youth, and I am deeply touched to have you here to make a speech of gratitude for my humble efforts in behalf of my beloved country. You ask me what our country and the world can give me in return for my achievement. I am deeply grateful to you, my brothers and sisters of the world. I ask no credit for myself but owe it all to God, who guided me through love and inspired me to give my best to my country and to bring back with honor old glory's colors which have never trailed the dust, unstained by blood of innocent women and children. Above all the rest, I have kept a woman's trust untarnished and hope to someday see a new light of love in a woman's eyes. No reward is greater than this, and I must still trust in God and wait. I have been loyal to her when all others have doubted her. Even when my country dishonored me, my faith never faltered, and when she disappeared, I hoped and prayed that she would live, and still hope she is alive. I knew she had faith in me, love for me, and the power of that love has given me the power to destroy the world, but her love has left charity in my heart, and for that love I have dealt with the enemy with love and mercy. All the money, power and glory that you can give me are empty and cannot supply the aching void in my heart for her. The greatest gift that could be bestowed would be to return her to me with all the love and confidence that she had in me on June 5, 1927. In speaking of the inspiration that has been brought about by my love for her, I want to say that I was always faithful to my mother and that I have honored and respected her. It was she who taught me loyalty to my country, and it was for her that I remained loyal and faithful to the cause of my country. In closing, I request that one of the terms of peace shall be that New York City shall be the capital of the United Kingdom of the world, that the plan of the future shall be according to Ezekiel. The Bible is replete with references throughout of a rebirth. Jesus said he must be born again of water and of the Spirit. A change of name is referred to many times. Jesus said, I will give him a new name. The United Kingdom of the world shall be the new name. Jesus said, I will be their God and there shall be no more war. In Ezekiel 48:35, his last prophecy was, and the name of that city from that day shall be, the Lord is there. New York City, which is to be the capital of the United Kingdom of the world and which has been known as the most wicked city in the world, is now to be the capital of the land of love and liberty, because the victory which united the world was won from there. I christen it the city of the Lord. May you so live that the world may know by the acts and justice of this great city that the Lord is there. I thank you, one and all. When Supreme Commander Gordon finished speaking, almost every man and woman in the audience were in tears. They had never known that such wonderful things were in the Bible and that all of these very events were foretold by the greatest prophet, Ezekiel. The President of the United States stepped to the platform and suggested that they give a rising vote of thanks and 3 cheers for Supreme Commander Robert Gordon. When the cheering was over, the President said, "The conference is going to close for the evening and meet tomorrow when Supreme Commander Gordon will go over the plans for the future Brotherhood of Love. If you will have patience for a few moments, General Walter Kenilworth will make the closing address, but in the meantime I want to introduce to you America's greatest woman, one whom we hope that the good women of America will select to be the first woman to rule the United Kingdom of the world. One who made a supreme sacrifice and rendered her country the greatest aid in time of war. I present to you the wife of General Walter Kenilworth, and the aide of Supreme Commander Robert Gordon, the woman who saved the Capitol at Washington, General Edna Kenilworth." When the President had finished and the applause had died down, General Edna Kenilworth arose. "Mr. President, Supreme Commander Gordon, brothers and sisters of the United Kingdom of the world. To me belongs no honor and I seek no glory. We owe it all to the genius of our Supreme Commander, Robert Gordon. I thank our worthy President and all the nations of the world who have shown their honor and appreciation to General Walter Kenilworth, my husband, and myself. I am happy to know that the cause of women has triumphed and that our Supreme Commander has set an example for the world and has shown what the love of a good woman can do. I thank you." The women were all on their feet and gave Edna the greatest applause any woman ever received. It was now growing late in the evening and General Walter Kenilworth stepped to the platform and said, "Brothers and sisters of the United World, I will not detain you long with this personal address to our Supreme Commander Robert Gordon." Turning to the Supreme Commander he said, "I will no longer address you as the Supreme Commander Robert Gordon, but as my friend and comrade. This is the happiest moment of my life and I now realize that justice, mercy and truth always will be rewarded. You have been unselfish and since the day that you wrote the famous letter that won Marie and the Garden of Love, you have kept your promise and been unselfish. Your first thought has been of your country in time of need. You have been loyal to your mother, true and faithful to Marie, and now I want to read Marie's letter to you written the day she disappeared. I know that you know it by heart because you have read it 1,000 times, but I want this conference of men and women from all the nations of the world to know that you are a man among men. That you are one in millions and that you have set an example for the world and that example will make better men." The letter reads, "Dearest Robert, according to your faith be I unto you. Love will always have faith, understand and wait. Time proves all things. You will get everything you want. I will come to you when I mean the most, and your need for love is the greatest. Marie. Your faith has been supreme. Your love has given you faith and you have tried to understand. More than 5 long years have passed and no word has been received from Marie. In your speech today, the thought uppermost in your mind was for her happiness and safety. This shows that time does prove all things. It has proven your love for Marie and your faith and confidence in a woman's promise. Marie was a wise prophet. She knew better than we knew when she said, 'You will get everything you want.' Robert Gordon, that prophecy has been fulfilled. You have accomplished your ambition and received everything that the world can give. All of your dreams but one have been realized. You have all the honors, all the gratitude that a world can give, yet I know that your heart is aching, and after your duty is well done and the peace of the world is established, you will need Marie and her love more now than ever. What Marie Stanton had in her mind the night she wrote that letter and left the train on the way to St. Louis, I do not know, but I do know that she has rendered the greatest service of any woman to this country. Whether she dreamed or realized what she was doing, makes no difference. Had she proceeded on to St. Louis and married you, Robert Gordon, the great inspiration which has made you the greatest inventor of the world and the Prince of Peace, would have been lacking. The great desire for love and your longing for Marie has stimulated your ambitions, kept hope in your breast, and endowed you with the power to subdue the enemies of the world and unite the world in the brotherhood of peace. This has all been brought about by the act of Marie Stanton. She deserves credit, and above all, you deserve the greatest reward that can be given any man, and that is the love of a good woman. The last line of her letter read, I will come to you when I mean the most and your need for love is the greatest. Robert Gordon, that last promise has sustained you through all of these years. It has been the anchor that has kept your soul steadfast. You have trusted and never doubted. You have honored and respected the land that gave you birth. Your love and faithfulness to Marie Stanton has guided you to success and victory, because it was an unselfish love. The great God who gave his only begotten Son to save the world that he loved has not been unmindful of you and your devotion to his wisdom. You have followed his example of love and mercy. You have kept the faith. You have preserved the life of your nation, and the all-wise God in his wisdom and mercy has preserved for you the life of Marie Stanton. Robert Gordon, my friend and comrade, I now take pleasure in presenting to you Marie Stanton. Robert Gordon jumped from his seat as if in a daze. Marie Stanton shouted, Robert! Robert! And fell into his arms. General Walter Kenilworth turned to the audience and said, This is the proof of God's divine plan and the reward for those who obey his law. Love is indeed the fulfillment of the law. I may not be as great a prophet as Ezekiel or as our Supreme Commander Robert Gordon, but I predict that when we meet tomorrow we will have heard that the first marriage in the new city, the city of the Lord, capital of the United Kingdom of the world, has taken place between Robert Gordon and Marie Stanton. The end.
William Gann's 1927 novel The Tunnel Through the Air. Produced by Robert Rundle's Magic Words Through the Zodiac series, which are sold through the Sacred Science Institute of Cosmological Economics.